This is MediaBistro.com's Media Beat. I'm Joe Ciarallo, editor with MediaBistro.com. We're here with Baratunde Thurston, comedian and web and politics editor at The Onion.
What's up?
Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, great to have you here. I do want to talk a little bit about your work at The Onion. A lot of folks know you through that, and jump into that with asking you, what is the key to writing a catchy headline at The Onion?
Work at The Onion.
That's it. You work there?
You work there, and it sort of comes to you. One of the weird things about being there, I've been there about 2.5 years, a little longer, and I thought I understood how it worked. I was like, oh, there's this formula, and when you're inside, you really realize how deep the story of The Onion goes. The Onion's really a character. There's no bylines. And you're speaking from this perspective of this all-seeing, omnipotent, arrogant, old-school media brand that talks down to its audience. So there's a level of contempt embedded in The Onion's character that I didn't really respect until I was able to join in and that contempt for our audience, and now it's a lot better.
And I mean, you know, those quick sort of punchy headlines, does that make it a natural fit for the online version?
It actually does. I mean, some people who've heard Ira Glass did a big special on The Onion's writer's room culture, but we start with the headlines. Every week, hundreds of headlines come in from our full-time writers and part-time contributors, and then the story's written from that angle on. Which just makes writing news a lot easier if you can kind of start with the headline. But if you move on to like these high-velocity social sharing tools like Twitter and Facebook, the headline really does well. Our click-through rates are super high. I remember talking to somebody at the New York Times, and they were jealous of our Twitter click-through rates. I was like, well, our news is better than yours, so like that shouldn't be surprising.
And what is the funniest example of a time when someone thought an Onion headline was real?
There are a lot of those. Gymnast Shawn Johnson, she had a knee injury, and we did a video about after her knee injury, her parents put her down like a horse. Shawn Johnson's an Olympic gymnast. He's one of these petite, bouncy, flippy people. And she's a hero to like little girls all over the country. So we published this video saying like Shawn Johnson's parents, killed her because of her bad knee. And people cried. The YouTube comments were just insane. And just yesterday, we ran a headline that was something like, Pope announces goal to reduce levels of pedophilia to acceptable levels. And that was so realistic to people that they were really upset. They're like, there is no acceptable level of pedophilia. It's like, exactly. But people move so quickly now, they don't pay attention to where they get their information from, and we sort of perversely benefit from that.
And we talked about headlines, so what are some of the biggest challenges of writing those punchy or just writing comedy on the web? What are your biggest challenges? I
think, my job there isn't primarily as a writer, so I observe that process, I comment on it, and occasionally I write things, but my job is kind of online strategy dude, and I help guide our political coverage. But from my experience of watching other people and being in that room, the challenge for me when I got there was just taking so much criticism. I'm a stand-up comic first, and I'm used to working alone, and I'm used to being right. Like there's no one except for the audience telling me that doesn't work. And so to be around a table of people who are just not laughing at the things you think are funny, really checks your ego, and I think, kind of humbles you over a period of time and raises the bar on what's funny.
And you mentioned earlier just growth in other areas, and one of the things that you let us know about was the iPhone app.
Yeah, we're actually, within 12 hours, we took the #1 spot in the news category, away from Dig and the New York Times and NPR. And there's something beautiful and really tragic about that level of success.
The Onion is #1 in news.
Yeah, so it's our first official app. Our videos are in it, our radio news reports, all the great photo work we do, the magazine covers, and our award-winning news coverage. And it's in the palm of your hands.
Is it free?
It's free. Yeah, it's sponsored by Jack Link's Beef Jerky. We found this unique sponsorship opportunity. They were looking to get into this space, and we were looking to help, get our app as far out there as possible, and free helped us do that.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to continue in part 2. You have a lot going on besides The Onion. We're going to get into that in part 2. This is Baratunde Thurston. You are watching Media Beat.